At the end of July 2026, there was an unprecedented 60 to 70,000 Moroccan migrants who illegally crossed the border into the Spanish enclave called Ceuta. Just a few days ago, Asmongold, a legacy Twitch streamer who has a massive social media following, got banned on the live streaming platform called Twitch for saying this.
I think they should just shoot them. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids. Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them.
Today, I'm going to provide my own opinions on his statements and then dive into whether or not his ban on Twitch was actually justified. But first, here's a little bit more context on the statements that got him banned. So as I mentioned, there was a massive border crisis in Ceuta, and the majority of these illegal migrants were young men. And that's why Asmongold says they are military-aged men. And one of Asmongold's first points is that since these men are military-aged, they must be military. And he classifies this whole border issue as a military invasion.
Now, this is, in my opinion, like in any other point in history, this would be viewed as a military invasion because, of course, the overwhelming majority of these people are military-aged men.
And I guess for me, that already is such a big leap in logic. Just because you're military age, that means you're military men. And I think that's the first point that kind of caught my attention, because my mind immediately goes to young men are just more fit for the risk. They have to swim, and you'll see like these images of men in like floaty tubes, and they're swimming like 3 kilometers to cross this border. It's already been reported that these men didn't have military arms or weapons. And if you do a quick search, it also shows that the Spanish Prime Minister dismissed the idea that it was a military invasion. We have intelligence analysts characterizing this as a humanitarian crisis. This is not a political channel, but I do urge everyone to just maybe do one quick Google search and then form an opinion rather than speaking in absolutes. And the second main statement that Asmongold makes is really the reason why he got banned in the first place.
You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Because if you don't do that, they'll use children and women as shields to get themselves over. Because they know that they can use them as collateral so they can get more of themselves over. That's the way it works. That's the way an animal thinks, and these people are animals. They're savages.
He comments on the morality of the people who decide to use children and to put children in harm's way, but in the same breath, he says, I don't care what happens to the children. Shoot them anyways. I don't know the guy. I don't know Asmongold. I think the message just really gets diluted. Do you condemn people because of harming children, and then you also don't care about harming children? Like, I don't understand fully like what it is. Like, do you care about them or not? You know, he also made the point that there was a bit of moral hypocrisy, and he said, oh, you care about these illegal immigrants, and he says, where is the empathy for the citizens of Ceuta?
Never once have I ever heard about the human rights or, you know, what's the right thing to do for all of the people in the city who are now having to be terrified in their homes, boarding their houses up. You have these migrants banging on their doors, smashing their windows, destroying their businesses, and then for some reason we never think about them. We don't care about them. The only people that we care about are these invaders that are going around trying to take advantage of the country.
And I think this is a bit of a conflation in my eyes. I think you can advocate for non-lethal border protection and crowd control and also have empathy for the citizens of Ceuta. I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. And this is why I fundamentally disagree with Asmongold's statements. Just from the information that I've seen in these clips, it seems like his knee-jerk reactions to these situations are to recommend solutions that are a bit extreme. I don't know what his intentions are. Maybe he has good intentions, but he has bad execution. I don't know. But I think his solutions are a little bit extreme, because when I see situations like this, I try my best to start the whole process with empathy and understanding. My mind immediately goes to, damn, like what exactly is happening in Morocco that has led thousands of people to take such desperate measures to escape the hardships of their homeland.
It's a bad life in Morocco. That's why we get swimming to here.
It's nothing. Working for 12 hours for a less salary.
Because Asmongold says these guys are savages. And to be completely fair, there may be a small subset of these people that do these horrible things that he claims that they do. But humanitarian organizations also agree that the vast majority of children and women that do cross these borders are also just part of the family that are escaping hardships. And so I guess like my question is like, why does Asmongold assume that the whole population is filled with these bad people? I think a more rational way to approach this is that sure, there may be a small subsection of that group that do horrible things, but a big portion of this group are bringing their families and trying to escape a terrible situation. That's the problem with such an extreme solution, to say let's end the existence of these people when we don't know for certain that they are all horrible people. In fact, Asmongold says this himself.
Many of them could be criminals. We have no idea. People said Morocco emptied their prisons and let those people come over. I have no idea if they did that or not.
So if you have no idea, isn't ending someone's existence, isn't that a bad design to a solution to a problem where we don't have the full picture? That's all I'm saying. And the thing is, I think if we started from a place again of trying to understand, trying to connect with the humanity of the situation, rather than saying every single human being in this group is bad, every single human being in this group is evil. And this is my message to Asmongold. And we're gonna get a little parasocial up in here. You say that the people who use these children as meat shields are savages, yet in the same breath, you say shoot the children anyways. You say there's so much moral hypocrisy in caring about the illegal immigrants, yet we don't have any empathy for the citizens of Ceuta. You say that you have empathy for the citizens of Ceuta, but just the way that you message things, it's really hard to believe that you have empathy for anyone. And the thing is, you might. I don't know you, but I'm just saying that the way that you communicate your message, it really makes it hard for people to believe that your intentions are good and that you do have empathy. And you know, I'm just one of the millions of opinions, but I would just like to make one suggestion. Like, if you truly care about these children, if you really want to inspire change and to make a difference, then I would suggest maybe trying a different tactic. But just imagine a world where we start the conversation with empathy. We start the conversation with really trying to understand what everyone is going through. Just imagine a world where everyone starts the conversation with understanding that we don't hate each other, that at the end of the day, we all want what's best for ourselves and our families. And the thing is, I sympathize and empathize with you, Asmon, because you even admitted yourself, you have the awareness to know that the way that you deliver yourself is a bit abrasive, and you shared the experience with your father.
It's how I was raised. The reality is that, I was driving my dad to the hospital. He was like getting one of his cancer treatments. And he said, well, you know what's funny about this? And I said, what? And he says, well, now they can say you killed me too, just like they say you killed your mom. That's the way I grew up. That's the way I communicate. And that's the way I think. And I'm not sorry. And I understand that sometimes I use abrasive language. Sometimes I communicate in a way that's a little bit harsh. And,
that is so unfortunate, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. But we all have a choice to continue that cycle of hurt and trauma, or we can make the decision to break that chain and to break that cycle. The interesting thing is that you are in such a unique position to not only break that cycle for yourself, but for so many young men and women who look up to you and respect you and care about your opinions. And that would just be my message for Asmongold. I understand that, this is just the way that your childhood traumas have manifested, but maybe a little bit of empathy and understanding would go a long way in making a difference in how the world heals and how you heal. And now to answer the question of whether or not Asmongold's Twitch ban was actually justified. And oh man, I know based on the fucking comments that I saw in my first video, regardless of what I say, people are gonna be pissed, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I am a true free speech advocate. I think it doesn't matter if you love what someone says, if you hate their opinion, if you agree with it, if you disagree with it, you despise it, you support it, you're completely neutral to it. It doesn't matter. All speech must be free. The only exception that should be made is when speech leads to someone's life, their health, their livelihood, their safety is endangered. That's when I think the government should step in and protect their people. But aside from those exceptions, all speech must be free. Not just the speech that I agree with and that I care about, but also the opinions that I vehemently disagree with. We don't get to pick and choose what part of speech is free or not. Because if we decide that a small group of people, let's say our lawmakers, get to decide what is good and what is bad, and we give them the power to administer punishments based on what they consider bad speech, that's when you have problems of manipulation and corruption. That is going to be a horrible society to live in. I'll tell you that right now. I don't have that much faith in our lawmakers, and I for damn sure would not want them to be the great arbiters of good speech and bad speech. And that's the reality of the situation with free speech. If only the speech that we like and agree with is free, then it's not free speech. So that's my stance on free speech, okay? The problem is Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, they're not the government. So even though my personal opinion is all speech should be free, I don't get to decide which rules that Twitch implements. I didn't build the company. I don't have any financial stakes. I didn't take any of the financial risks. I don't have any involvement in how the company is operated. I have no say in the rules that Twitch implements. And none of us do. But the thing that we do have control over is who we give our support, who we give our attention to. So if a company like Twitch is completely misaligned with my own values, I have every right, I have every freedom to not give them my views, to not give them my support. I have every freedom and every right to step away. That's what I get to do. So at the end of the day, if we believe that we live in the land of the free, then Asmongold is free to give his opinions as long as it doesn't jeopardize someone's safety and their livelihood. He is free to say what he wants, and we are free to not listen to him. We are free to ignore him. We are free to not use the platform that supports him. So exercise your freedom. Vote with your actions. If you feel strongly about something, don't give someone your energy or your attention. But yeah, this was video number 3 of the channel. I'm kind of nervous about posting this one just because, I don't know, people kind of ran away with some crazy narratives on my first video that I uploaded. So I was like, oh damn, this one for sure is going to be a spicy one. But at the end of the day, I am not a political channel. I'm not a political expert. I'm never going to claim to be one. I think it's important that everyone does their own due diligence, forms their own opinions. At the end of the day, I'm always going to be an advocate for empathizing and trying to understand people. Whether or not it is people like Asmongold, I think he also deserves some sympathy and empathy, because otherwise, you know, we're just hypocrites ourselves. At the end of the day, I'm just some dude on the internet giving my opinions. I just want to be a positive influence to the young men and women out there. Damn, I don't know how this one's gonna go. But all right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace, peace, peace.